The first time was only a warning. A warning not to make any sequels or else there would be hell to pay for the audience. Maybe. Damien, Omen 2. The 1978 novel by Joseph Howard. This review will contain spoilers. Is this the kind of book where the second takes the same story with nearly the same outcome and is just as good as the original, like Rocky 2? Or is it not? The plot! Was it an accident when Joan Hart became the only person with the knowledge of Damien's evil tendencies? Was it murder when the exhibition site began to crumble in the beginning? Was it a coincidence that the people who could be in Damien's way to gain power are now suddenly dying all around him? Or was it an omen? This is basically cut and paste from the first book, except this time, Damien is a teenager. He starts off actually kind of like a likable character. However, when he finds out about his special power, he becomes a show-off. It was funny at first, until it started to get aggravating. Another thing that aggravated me was the fact that there really is no build-up. We already know the answer. We're just waiting for Damien's new parents to come to the realization, which happens in the last 10 pages or so. We are also introduced to a bunch of new characters, including Buer and Neff, whom are basically there to watch over Damien and to give guidance. There's one scene near the end I thought was really creepy, when Damien walks out of the museum, and they are in the limousine waiting for him, just smiling. Creepy fucks. Richard and Anne Thorne are the two new foster parents to Damien, and are likable enough. Anne is actually Richard's second wife, and in that she had to become part of a family. She does seem to truly love the family, especially Richard for all the right reasons. There's also Mark, Damien's cousin. He's a likable character too, even if a bit two-dimensional. He doesn't really have any development, but it's nice to see a loving and caring brother figure in these kind of stories. The rest of the characters are basically there just to be in Damien's way, and to become meat sacks. After Carl Bugenhagen and Michael Morgan are killed in the opening scene, Joan Hart takes her place as the voice needing to be heard about the impending doom. She's also the one in the opening scene with Bugenhagen and Morgan. She was not in the opening scene in the movie, and I feel that's what makes it less forced, because we've known her from the beginning, and we're not introduced to her mid-book. Something I really haven't decided is if I like the fact that Damien talks a lot in this book. In the first, he doesn't, which makes him a creepier kid. But here, he seems to be just a nice teenager who gets a hold of some power, and lets it go to his head. There are a few messed up scenes in this book, but I won't spoil them. I'll just say that I didn't remember them happening in the film. And when they did happen, I was like, damn! The gore! The body count is amped up to 11 in this book. There's a bunch of gruesome happenings. People are impaled, sliced in two, run over by a truck after having their eyes gouged out by a raven. Also, at the end, when Anne is burned alive, she cries out Damien's name in sick pleasure. Damien! Damien! It is morbid, and it is not in the movie. It was basically a Saw movie from 1978, and is way more graphic than the first. There is not really much else to say about this one. They invested so much more in the kills and less in the characters, so it is not as good as the original, but it is still an entertaining time passer. While the music is what makes these movies usually superior to their book counterparts, I do feel some of the changes in the movie were wrong. The introduction to Joan Hart and having Anne Thorne screaming, Damien! Damien! while burning alive instead of having a cheesy scream, are lacking. So I feel they're both equal in somewhat different ways. Overall, I give Damien, Omen 2 a 3.5 out of 5. As bloody as it might be, it still retains a lighthearted air. It makes you wonder if Damien really could have ended up becoming evil because he is such a nice kid. But I'm sure that would have pissed off readers and audience members alike if it was only about the decision and the struggle Damien had to go through. I'm Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.